Hello guys, welcome to the third part of the series. So in this we will be implementing certificate pinning and I will be heavily using these links. So bugsy.com has a code of certificate pinning which we will be using on, and obviously we will be using the public key pinning code by this gist. So let's get started. For certificate pinning we need a certificate for this host, right? So I'll copy this and I'll go to my Safari, and in my Safari I'll when I execute this, you'll see a lock like icon. You click on that and you'll see a small button show certificate. So I have the certificate here with me. So I need to drag and drop this certificate on my finder or any folder which I want, and I'll just rename the certificate to openweathermap.org.cer. This certificate needs to be added to the bundle, and this has been added now. And I'll go to network manager. So first thing I'll do, I'll make the delegate to self. I'll go with extension network manager, URLSession delegate, and I need to write the did receive. There are two methods. One is async. I don't want the async right now. I'll use the escaping one. Did receive with the URLSession auth challenge disposition. So it is giving me an error like you have to conform with NS object protocol. So if I click on fix, it will add a lot of methods which I need to implement and properties. So what I'll do, I'll go to this class and I'll make this class NS object, inherit to NS object, and this will also require an override keyword. That's it. I believe the error should be gone. Okay, so for certificate pinning we need to do two things. First, we have a local certificate and a bundle, and we also make a certificate from our host. We compare both the certificates by converting them into data, and if the data is same for both the certificates, then we say that certificate pinning is actually successful. Otherwise it is failed. Okay, so let us go with certificate pinning. So if you can see the things here, what he has done, he has made a server trust first. I'll just refresh it. So the server trust is being made, sec result has been made, and then finally pinning is being done. So there are two NS data, one with my bundle, one with the host, and both are being compared here. And if it is equal, then obviously there is no man in the middle attack. Okay, so let us try this. So okay, let us start with certificate pinning now. So in certificate pinning we have certain steps. So first we create a server trust. So how we will do that? Guard let server trust equal to challenge dot protection space dot server trust. So I'll get a server trust here, similar to what similar to what it is being written in the blog. So you have to create a server trust first. Challenge dot protection space dot server trust. This is very similar. So I'm creating that only, and I'm also creating a certificate. And this is my, you can say this is my server certificate. So I'll write let certificate sec trust get certificate at index, and it should be server trust here, and the index should be 0, because the certificate should be at the root. Else we'll just return it. We can just have an error like something bad happened. So we have a server trust that is coming from the host, and from that server trust we are extracting the certificate. So this is the first step. Now second step, we need to, and obviously this first step is very common for both public and certificate. So I can write the certificate pinning at the bottom. Now the certificate pinning starts. So we have to create a server trust in both the cases. So now certificate pinning actually starts here. So we need SSL policies for domain check. Now let policy, that is an NSMutable array, policy dot add, and it requires a sec policy create SSL, and obviously it is true, and the host name will be what? Challenge dot protection space dot host, same as this. Here I am having a server trust and here I am having a host, and this needs to be converted into a CF string. Okay, so we have added a policy. Now we have to evaluate the certificate using our policy as well as the trust. So we'll make a variable is server trusted sec trust, evaluate with error and server trust, and I'll keep the error as nil. And finally, up till this part, it's pretty confusing, like what we are actually doing. So we are just making a server trust from our actual challenge from which the request is being generating, and then response is being coming, and then we are creating the certificate from that particular server trust. We are adding a policy here, and then finally we are evaluating whether the server is being trusted or not. Now we have to make our local and remote certificate data. So now we have certificate but we don't have the data, so we have to convert them into the data part. So first we'll convert the remote certificate data, which is ns data, and that will be sec certificate copy data, and the certificate which needs to be passed is this one, the server one, right? So here I have my remote certificate data. It's not date, it's data ready. Okay, now I need to make the local certificate data as well. So for that, first I need to have the path to certificate. So that will be in my bundle. Here you can see bundle dot main dot path for resource, and obviously I'll be copying this of type what, cer dot ce, not, we don't write dot, so cer is fine. So this is the path where I will be having my local certificate, and I will have the local certificate data, and that will be again ns data. Okay, and that will be ns data dot init contents of file, right? Init contents of file, and that will be path to certificate. And obviously I'm pretty sure that I have passed, so I can just unwrap it. So, and finally I can unwrap the data as well. So you can write a guard like or if let check. So it depends, like I am pretty sure like I have a certificate and the data will be made out of that, right? So I don't require to have guardlet, but yes, you can. Then we are having now the local and the remote certificate data. Now the final step, compare data of both certificates. And that's it. So we have to follow 3 steps. First, if this server is trusted first, and remote certificate data is equal to what, local certificate as data. Okay, if these conditions are true, then we say that the pinning is successful. So I'll write certificate, I'll just print it out, pinning is successful, and in the completion handler I'll return what, I'll return, it depends, like I can make a user credential, because it is assuming that here you is assuming to have a user credential, right? So depends, like I can make a user credential here. So if I write let credential, just for the sake of callback, URL credential, and it is URL credential, and obviously with server trust. So I can pass this in the second parameter, and I can write use credential and credential. But it's up to you, like you want to pass that, otherwise I can just pass nil as well. So I don't require this line. So by completion handler and adding dot use credential, it means that I am passing the validation. Okay, so let us make the credential and we'll pass that. Otherwise, you know, failure happened. Failure happened, and in this case, the completion handler will return what? Simple cancel authorization, and that will be nil, and that's it. Okay. So now let us try, whether we are able to actually perform the certificate pinning or not. So let us try that. And also before that, I need to actually close Charles just to see the things are working fine. So I'll just present the mobile layout, mobile screen, and I just need to close the Charles. So configure proxy, I'll come back again to off. Okay, so it's not manual anymore. So now let us run the application to check everything is fine. So you can see that I got the debugger here, so I'll check the details. So I have a server trust with me. I'll print out the certificate, like what's the server certificate. So you can see that we have open weather map. So I believe the certificate which I am having, this will match this time, because uh, the certificate which I am getting is exactly the same. And I'll tell you like why I put 0 here. So we have some hierarchy of certificates. So I'll tell you like how it is done. So the policy is being made first, then let us check whether with the server trust, is the server trusted. Yes, it is trusted, true. Now remote certificate data is being made, and local certificate data is being made. So we have the remote certificate data and we have the local. So local is 1607 byte and even the remote is 1607 byte. So I believe both are same, and you can see the pinning is successful, and that's it. The pinning is successful. So I'll run the app again. So remove the debuggers, and you can see it is working absolutely fine. So certificate pinning is done. Now let us see how the certificate pinning is actually being cancelled, or maybe it doesn't allow. Certificate pinning is failed. I'll just write this print, and let us see how we can make a failure part here. So for this, I need to connect to Charles once again. So I'll go to configure proxy and 192.168.1.7.8888. I'm now connected with Charles. So now since I'm connected with Charles, what I'll do, I'll just disable SSL proxying for the first time, and then I'll try running the application. You'll see that the SSL passes or not. So yes, it is passing and I can see the temp. But now I am not able to see any request here, right? But now let's say I enable SSL proxying and I am actually trying to sneak in the request. What will happen here? I'll run that, and here you can see the certificate pinning is failed. So now we are not able to see any request in Charles, because what is happening here, the certificate is actually failed. And why? Because the certificate was not the actual valid certificate. I'll show you how. I'll run the application again since Charles proxy is there. And when I come into this, just print the certificate and see. So certificate is Charles Proxy CA. This is not a valid certificate. This is just my local MacBook local certificate. It is just installed in my mobile, and that's not valid. So you can see the remote data and the local data is different. So you can compare. It is 1608 and local is 1607. So somewhat there is a difference. Charles certificate is acting like a authentic source, but it is not an authentic source. So server is trusted, that is fine, but the certificates are not equal. So it will go to the failing part, and that's what we want. That's what we required, right? And since I haven't handled error, I'll show you like how we can handle the error in these cases. So in this case, I'll run again the app. We'll see what happens here. So let us run the application. So we are in the error here. You can see we are in the error. So let us print the error and see what is there in the error. So you can see that in the error we have a long string and we have a -999 and we have cancelled. So either you can go with the code or you can just check with the string as cancelled and you can return your own error. This means you're failing, something is failed. Okay. So if error, I can do like this. Dot localized string is what? Cancelled. I'll just copy this. So it means like the pinning is failed. So I'll do that. I'll do something like I'll make an own error, ns error, right? Init with domain code and user info. Domain nothing, code is like -999 and info will be in the array, in a dictionary, sorry. Ns localized description key, and that will be, I'll say SSL pinning failed. That's it, and I'll return it from here. Otherwise, if the error is of any other type, then I'll just return that error. And what I'll do, I'll print the error here. Okay, so let us see. I believe there are no breakpoints. Yeah, there is one, and there is an error as well. So let us see what is that. So it is saying, okay, so I just need to give the label here, and that is what it is, user info. That's it. So let me run the application. So obviously we will not get any response here, but you can see certificate pinning is failed, which is being printed from here. And finally, in my view controller, I can see SSL pinning failed. So you can see here I have shown the error, obviously. So SSL pinning is failed. So I am able to identify like this is an SSL error or the SSL error is failed or what. And you can convert this error into NS error and then get the code -999 out, just to ensure and just to show in the UI like something bad has happened, or someone is attacking from outside or something went wrong, and you can show on your UI. So this is all about certificate pinning. It's been a long video, but it's quite a learning. So again, just a recap, we created a server trust, we created a server certificate. This is a server certificate. And yes, I forgot to tell you like why we have used 0. So you can see in the hierarchy we have a lot of certificates. We have sectigo, RSA domain, we have this. So we have user trust, we have open weather, we have 2 3. So let us write one here and see like what certificate we are getting. And obviously I need to remove Charles. So first I remove Charles. Otherwise, I will be only getting Charles certificate every time. Or rather than removing Charles, I can just okay, let's remove Charles. Otherwise, we can go here as well in SSL proxying settings, and I can just remove the API from here, so that will also work. But that's okay. I just remove the Charles, and let us run the application again and see the certificate. So in the first index, so it's not mandatory that in every host we will have 2 or 3 certificates. Okay, the debugger was missed. So see here, PO certificate. You can see this is Sectigo RSA domain validation secure server. So basically this is 0, this is 1, right? So we want the most leaf certificate, most root certificate, not the root, most leaf certificate. Okay, so this is a tree, this is kind of a tree, so I want the leaf certificate here. So by leaf I want a 0 certificate, the 0 certificate present at the 0th index. So if I run the application again here, you can see that the certificate is the one which I really want, in which I am actually comparing. So this is the one. You can see the name of the certificate, asterisk dot open weather, and you can also match that, right? And if you write 2 here, then obviously it will crash because it has only 2 childs. One is this, one is this. So we generally use this 0 because we want the leaf certificate. Okay, and for this case I think it will succeed because the pinning is successful, and obviously we are getting the data here. So every time I run the application in this, so pinning is successful, and I'm getting the 22.06 data. So this is how certificate pinning is done. It's pretty easy, and it will make your application a little more secure. However, like certificate and public key pinning are not exactly make your application 100% secure. There is again a possibility of cracking the application, which I will tell you later. But still, it will uh, at least for non jailbroken devices, it will like ensure that your app is safe. So this is certificate pinning. In the next video, by using the URL session only, we will do the public key pinning. So if you have any questions, comments, just let me know here. It's being a long video, I know that, but yes, I have been doing a lot of mistakes on that. So yeah, now it's pretty clear for me as well. So let me know if you have any questions. So see you in the next video of public key pinning. Bye bye.